So once it hits 1 o'clock, Jennifer, I'll start.
Okay, no worries.
Good afternoon. I'm Larry Curran, Director of the Webinar Program for SCORE Westchester. Welcome to our webinar, The One-Page Marketing Plan. This is a critical topic for all businesses. We will be learning today from Jennifer Dawn, Master Coach and owner of Jennifer Dawn Coaching. You will learn a lot of useful ideas and information today. But first, I want to say a couple of words about SCORE. SCORE Westchester supports local entrepreneurs through free confidential mentoring and educational programs like this. Can I have the next slide, please? Our clients are startups and established businesses. Our volunteer business mentors draw on a wide range industry experience and expertise. You can reach us at westchester.score.org. Now for some housekeeping. Everyone will be muted during the presentation. As we go, please submit your questions and comments using the Q&A, not chat button. We will also leave time at the end of the webinar to answer those questions. Also, a link to the recording will be sent to everyone afterwards. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jennifer Dawn, Master Coach and owner of Jennifer Dawn Coaching. Jennifer coaches business owners to grow their companies to their highest potential while maintaining a personal life. She started her entrepreneurial career at age 8 and has added author and podcaster to her resume. We will all learn a lot this afternoon. Jennifer, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Larry. I appreciate it. Hey, everybody. I'm super excited to be kicking this off with you guys. And if you've been on any of my webinars before, you know that we're going to actually get something done today. And my goal is for you to walk away with your one-page marketing plan, at least drafted out and in your hot little hands. Now, if you're driving, you won't be able to pull this off. But for the rest of you, it says we are muted. Video should be on. I am not muted. If somebody could just put a little note in Q&A that you can actually hear me. I just want to make sure we have the text stuff figured out. And then for you guys on your side, just make sure that you have your speakers turned on. Okay, great. There's a we can hear you. So if you can't hear me, and you should be able to see the video as well. Can you guys see the screen? Just pop a little note in. You can hear me? Great. Can you see my screen? Just want to make sure we're good to go here. Yes. Awesome. All right, you guys. So if you've been on these webinars with me before, you know I like to get things done because an hour of your time is a useful hour. This is not just sit back and listen. We are actually going to work on creating your one-page marketing plan here today. Now, if you do not know me, my name is Jennifer Dawn. I'm the owner of Jennifer Dawn Coaching and Consulting. I'm also the founder of Best Planner Ever. I'm the host of the Happy Productive podcast. I'm also a wife, a mother, a sister, a business owner, just like all of you guys. And I want to grow my businesses and I want to do it in a way that is fun and filled with joy and love and not have to just like grind away and be miserable in my business. And so that's one of the things that I help business owners to do to get to their first 7 figures in revenues, then double it, but do it all while still remaining happy and healthy. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. And a quick little overview. As a business owner, time without question is your biggest asset. If you want to make the most of your time, it's really important to operate from a plan that is clear, it's effective, it's efficient, and it's focused so that you don't feel scattered, like you're going in all these different directions. You're not always shifting the direction, which just creates a lot more work for you. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to actually create and run your entire business from a one-page marketing plan. And if we have time at the end, I'm also going to share my action plan. So I'm hoping that we have time for that. Yes, you will get a recording of this presentation. And the reason why I say that is you're going to probably want to come back to this recording. All right. I know that everybody says that, but for this one, it's legit because you won't be able to get it all done on this call today because we're going to kind of move through this information quickly because we have to make the most of the hour that we have. but you will want to come back to the recording and spend time on the sections that you don't actually get to today. I love having interactive webinars where we actually get something done, not just talk about it, and that's what this is going to be as well. Now, for some of you, if you were here before, we did a one-page business plan. And I just want to really quickly mention that. Okay, really quickly. So to get the most from today, you guys, make sure that you're eliminating distractions, you're focusing. Don't try and be on this webinar and work on your marketing strategy if you're also checking email, on social media, on your phone, trying to have a meeting, like none of that, okay? So close the door, turn off the phone, get off your email, have an open mind, get pen and paper. This is interactive. And make sure that you come back to get the recording. But I really want you guys to eliminate distractions and focus, because I'm going to be sharing a lot of really great information with you today. Now, a traditional business plan, marketing plan can often be 30, 40, 50 pages. And the problem with that is it's too big of a document to really be useful. It's difficult to understand. It's hard to find the information. It's going to be very difficult to execute because it's just too much. And most people are not going to do it. So even if you have a 40-page business plan, marketing strategy, most people are not going to dig through that many pages of information in the day-to-day execution. So this is why we create a one-page business plan, marketing plan, and action plan. And today we're going to be focusing on the marketing piece of that. When you have to drill down all that information into one page, it's going to improve your focus. It will improve your clarity. It will be a document that you can actually work from and execute. Your team can understand it. Your team knows the direction. You can incorporate it into team meetings very, very easily. And it's just super easy to update and use on a day-to-day basis, which is why we like to drill all that information down. Now, if you were not on the one-page business plan workshop, I really encourage you to go back to the list of the recordings and go through the one-page business plan, because I'm not going to be covering these things today. Quick little recap. So in the one-page business plan, it was also a workshop where we did it together, and I walked everybody through how to create a one-page business plan. And in that business plan, we answered 8 questions, which created the business plan. And those 8 questions were, who are you? Meaning, what are your core values? What do you stand for? How do you run your business? Who do you serve? This is your ideal client avatar. Who's that ideal client that you're after? What makes you unique, which is your unique selling proposition? What's your 3-year target as well as your 12-month target, so that you're setting your goal out of where I want to get my business in the next 3 years. And then we're backing that up to what do I need to get accomplished in the next 1 year. We clarified, what do you sell, which are your direct revenue sources. How do you sell it, right? What are the things that you're doing, your indirect revenue sources that are fueling the direct revenue? What are your issues? Meaning, let's not just like bury the issues under the carpet. Let's get really clear on what are the issues? What are my red flags? What do I need to deal with? What is stopping my business from going to that next level? And finally, what's your non-monetary measure of success? When we talk about that, yes, you can measure success by revenues, but your non-monetary measure of success is, what are you really doing? What's the value you're providing? How can you measure client satisfaction outside of just revenues? Because if you're doing that, the revenues will just flow. Okay. So these are all the things that we covered in how to create a one-page business plan. So I would just encourage everybody, if you haven't created your business plan, to please go watch that class and do so, because in this class, we're going to be focusing on your marketing strategy, which is a big part of your business plan. Is how are you going to market your business? How are you going to generate leads? How are you going to generate purchases? Purchases might be if you're an e-commerce business, whereas leads might be if you're a professional service provider and you want like booked calls, right? Like you need to talk to people so that you can close those calls for your business. So based on your business, whether your product or service, how are you going to generate those leads, those calls? How are you going to generate those purchases? What sets your brand apart from other brands, from the competition? What's your proven process? How do you get results in your business that maybe the others cannot do? What's your guarantee, your promise to the customer if they work with you? And then it dives into your inbound marketing and your outbound marketing. So inbound marketing are all the things that you do to draw a client into your business. This is going to be your website, right? Search engine optimization, a lead magnet that you might have out there on the internet that people will look at and opt in with their email address so that you can build your email list, so you can do email marketing, right? Your social media. All of these things, that your content strategy, that might be your blogs or videos or things that you're putting out there, which will attract your ideal client and draw them into the business. Then you have your outbound marketing. These are things that you're doing to actually go out and go after the business. That might be if you are exhibiting at trade shows or events, if you're doing PR, if you're doing LinkedIn outbound prospecting, direct mail piece, right? When you get the mail, the actual physical piece of paper mail in your mailbox, right? That's direct mail. That's going out and capturing that business to bring it into your business. So this is all the fun stuff that we're going to be talking about today in your marketing strategy. Now, I do have the Q&A open. So as we go through the different sections, if you have questions, guys, there's a lot of you and there's one of me. So I will do my very best, I promise, to answer as many questions as I can as we go through. So just make sure that you pop it in the Q&A and I'll answer it as we go through the sections. Okay, so in creating your one-page marketing plan, we're going to follow a similar format to the business plan, and we're going to answer these 8 questions. So paper, pencil, this is interactive. We're going to be doing this together so you can walk away with a draft of your marketing strategy after this webinar. So the 8 questions that we're going to be focusing on is: what value do you create? How do you do it? Why do you do it? What's your MTP, which I will explain? What pain points do you solve? What social platforms are you on? What are your SEO, your search engine optimization keywords and or hashtags? And how do you actually market to generate leads and purchases for your business? All right, you guys ready? Grab your paper and pen. Question number 1. What value do you create? And ideally, we want to drill this down to one sentence that a 3rd grader could understand. So if somebody says, this is what I do, there's absolutely no confusion. They don't have to burn calories trying to figure out what you do. And be careful with this, because sometimes when business owners are asked to, what value do you create? You start going off in 25 directions and here's everything that we do. But if you want your marketing strategy to really be effective, we've got to drill it down to like one good sentence that explains what you do and the value that you create. So I wanted to give you guys, and feel free in the Q&A to pop your value statements in if you want me to take a look and give you a little feedback as we go along. So here are some examples. We help business owners make their first 1 million in revenues, then double it without sacrificing their health or happiness. That's actually mine for my business. Here's another one. This is actually one of our clients. We take the headache out of accounting services for small business owners. Here's another one, another client. We help businesses get found on page 1 of Google. So if somebody says, what do you do? And you say, I help businesses get found on page 1 of Google. I immediately know what you do. I immediately know what the value is. It's super clear and super concise. And this statement also becomes the foundational check and balance for your marketing efforts. Because as you start putting stuff out there on marketing, if it doesn't circle back to that value statement, you could be creating confusion for your ideal prospect or your ideal customer. Okay. And if you already have marketing out there and you've created your value statement, go back out and look at your marketing and ask yourself, how clear is it? Can you really tell what I do from this marketing? At the end of the day, you guys, when it comes to marketing, I'd rather have marketing that is clear and concise and easy to understand, that's maybe a little boring and maybe not quite as sexy, as some fancy marketing that you look at and you're just like, what the heck is, what is it? Like, I don't even know what it is. I'm going to pick on one of the real estate companies. Maybe a year or two ago, there were billboards all over for some new real estate company. I think it was Kokorin, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing the name right, but all the billboards were just black with their name. And I thought it was a company that provided new kitchen countertops. Like, that's how bad the marketing was, because I'm just like, I don't even know what that is. I think it's like new kitchen countertops. Later, I'm like, that's a new real estate franchise in the area. I never even made the connection that that was a real estate agency, because the marketing was just like so fancy that you're supposed to figure out what they were, but nobody could actually figure out what in the heck they were. Okay, so don't let that be your marketing. I'd rather have you have people know what it is, know the value you provide, and be super clear than to have it be super abstract and people are trying to figure it out, because at the end of the day, they won't waste the time to try to figure it out. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of, lots of questions here. Yes, I agree 100%. I've viewed many websites and I can't figure out what they actually do. Okay, so if that's your business and you look at your website, can people figure out what you actually do? There's one in here, Harold. We take people ideas and create scalable opportunities. I kind of understand that, but are you a consultant? Are you a coach? Like, you take these people ideas. Are you helping people create and manufacture products? Are you helping them trademark? I'm a little bit lost on, okay, but what exactly, who exactly are you, and what do you actually do? Tutoring to help children be successful in their future. Love it, because I know, okay, you're tutoring kids, but I don't know what age children. Is this college kids? Are these like grade school children? You're helping them to be more successful. Are you helping them to be more successful in math, in reading, in something else? So great start, but we want to just expand upon that a little bit further, so we know what age children and what specifically are we tutoring them in, and then I don't really have any questions. We help families plan successful financial futures. Love it. Do you do it through retirement planning? Do you help them go out and invest in real estate? What kind of families? Low-income families, medium-income families, or maybe you help like really, really rich families be more really, really rich, right? So great start. I want you to refine it just a little bit more so that your ideal client is going to align with it and they have no question about the value that you create. Okay, so for everybody else, just write it down. You're hearing all the input, and know that you probably won't get it right exactly the first time, and that's okay. Just write down your thoughts. You can massage it as you go. That's why I say come back to the recording, sleep on it overnight, run it past some people so that you really and truly get this dialed in. Here's an example of Apple. And I love this example because do you see how when we talk about the value that you provide, we're not saying, oh, you could put 10,000 songs on this iPod and it has 12 megs of RAM and it has this much memory and blah, blah, blah. People don't buy that stuff, okay? We think it's important because we're the business owner and we created it, but people buy value. That is what they pay for, is value, not necessarily the technical specifications or the details or everything that's on the checklist, okay? So lose your ego. Don't worry about selling features. Don't worry about selling process. Focus on the customer's outcome. Every song you've ever owned in your pocket. Do you see how that like immediately creates value? It's not about the 10,000 songs. It's about every song you've ever owned in your pocket. Okay. So when you think about your value statement and what you provide, really focus on the outcome, what that client, that customer is going to have at the end. That ultimately is what they're buying. That's what they're really going to pay for. And that's what we need to emphasize in your marketing strategy. All right. Question number 2. How do we do it? Okay, how do we provide that value? Those are going to be our direct revenue sources, meaning the stuff that we sell, okay? And this is in your marketing strategy because sometimes In our efforts to grow our business, we've expanded our offerings, expanded our product lines, and we're trying to sell so many things and do so many things that it can get really cloudy and really confusing for you as the business owner and for your client as well. So we really want to just like drill this down into the core things that drive revenue in your business. For example, coaching. Right? I'm a business coach, and I also have a marketing agency that we created for our business clients. We put out content and we have a membership community. So direct revenue sources, if you're a coach, might be coaching, it might be your content, it might be a membership community, whatever that might be for you. A bookkeeper, we do bookkeeping services, tax preparation, and maybe we also are profit first consultants. Great. Our SEO example, we do on and off page optimization, and we run paid traffic ads. So these are some examples from different kinds of companies of their direct revenue sources. And what you want to ask, so go ahead on your paper, write down, how do you make your money? What are your direct revenue sources? And once you've got those written down, we want to ask, are they clear? Right? Even as a coach, like I went through this for years of just like, oh, well, I can coach this executive and I can coach this startup business owner and I can coach this and I coach that, and I also do some life coaching and I do some health coaching and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but at the end of the day, we've got to drill that down into really it's coaching. We're just going to put that in a coaching category so it's super, super clear. Are your direct revenue sources easy to understand? Or do you have way too many things that you're trying to sell and it's confusing? So are your direct revenue sources clear? Are they easy to understand? Is there overlap or confusion, especially if you're a service provider? Well, I provide this and this and this and this. Okay, great. But we got to drill that down and make it super clear so there's not overlap or confusion. Does your pricing make sense? I have a client, she sells a luxury board game. It's absolutely beautiful. The pricing was not in alignment with a luxury board game. And so this is where sometimes our pricing is too low. Often it's too low, but sometimes the pricing is way too high. And so we have to ask, does my pricing make sense for these direct revenue sources? Now, it might be worth having a SCORE mentor. If you're already working with a coach, having somebody take a look at your pricing, your packages, your offerings that you're offering to make sure that they are clear. Or just find somebody and say, hey, sit down and let me explain to you, this is what I sell. And if they are confused and they don't understand it, you probably need to do a little bit of work here. The reason why I want to see this lined out and in your marketing strategy is because when you start to market your product or your services, if you're not clear, if the pricing doesn't make sense, if there's overlap, and there's confusion, it will carry over into your marketing efforts. So when you're putting posts out on social media or running paid ads, if you have that initial confusion at the foundation, it's going to carry over into your marketing, and that also is going to be confusing, which is why I have it listed here as part of the marketing strategy. It's like, hey guys, especially when you have a team of people working on your marketing, it's like, hey guys, at the end of the day, here's what we sell. Boom, bookkeeping services. Let's make sure all the marketing is super clear to drive that ideal client who needs bookkeeping services. Let's see, some quick questions. How do you deal with prospective clients that are not focused and are multitasking when communicating with them? Okay, so Denise, I'm not entirely sure if you're like on a discovery call and they're off doing other things and you're trying to communicate with them. If that's the case, my best suggestion here is to say, hey, if this isn't a good time for us to talk, let's reschedule when you actually can pay attention. But I wouldn't say it like that. But let's find a better time to talk when you're not distracted, because this is really good information and I want to make sure that you have it. And sometimes that will like snap them out of it and be like, oh, okay, I will pay attention to the call. Do I like the word coach better than tutor? I'm going to tell you right now, you guys, like there are people who are going to coach you on finding, you know, fancy words for things to describe yourself and be unique. And I get it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to prospect burning calories trying to figure out who I am and what I do. And so if you are, and then also think about think about your ideal prospect, right? They are in need of your services and they're going to sit down on Google and they're going to type. Okay, so do I like the word coach better than tutor? Not necessarily. What I like is if I have let's say a kid and they need tutoring and I'm looking for a tutor for my kid, I'm not going to type in coach. I'm going to type in, I need a tutor for my child. So if I have to pick, it's going to be tutor. Why? Because if I'm that person looking, that's the term I'm going to use. Okay. So keep that in mind with your marketing. What is your ideal client going to sit down and type into Google if they're trying to find you? And that's probably going to be your better word. And that's the word that you're going to want to have on your website and with your SEO and in your social media. So we're making it as clear and easy and simple for people to find you when they are looking for you. Okay. Let's see. Should you have more than one product that brings in revenue? I have one product in 3 tiers. There is absolutely no right or wrong on you're only allowed to have one product or you're only allowed to have 5 products. Okay. What you want to be careful of is that if you have overlap or confusion between the products. Okay. And you also want to be considerate of your ideal client and not trying to serve everybody because you just can't serve everybody. So niche it down to your ideal client. And then based on your ideal client, you may have more than one product. And it is okay for one product to have multiple tiers. If you're a bookkeeper and that's your primary deal, but you have 3 levels of bookkeeping services that you can provide, fantastic. You're a coach, but you can provide multiple layers of service. Wonderful. Okay, great. I'm a coach, but I also have marketing agency. So we actually do have 2 products. So we have coaching and we have marketing. But those 2 products, they go together. They don't really overlap. One actually supports another. So there's no right or wrong on exactly how many products you have. It's more about clarity and consistency in the products that you're offering and not creating confusion. All right, you guys, question number 3. Get out your paper pen. Here we go. Why do you do it? Why do you do it? Why does having this business matter to you? What is in your heart that calls you to do this work? Write it down. Just 1 or 2 sentences, okay, about what is in your heart that calls you to do this work. What are your reasons for doing this work? Because those reasons will resonate with the people who need help in this area. Okay, me growing up as an 8-year-old, I saw my grandfather and they had a chiropractic office and it was attached to the home. And I loved seeing how they had a business and a home and they kind of did it all in this one space. And that is really part of what inspired me to be an entrepreneur. And I love helping small business owners because when you help a small business owner, sometimes unlike a huge corporation, but when you help a small business owner, they put it back out in the world. They hire people, they treat people well, they give back to the community. For me, that's my reason for helping small business owners is because I believe they can change the world. And that really resonates with me when I'm doing my marketing, right, out into the world. So why is it important for you to be a coach, a tutor, to help nonprofit, to help people speak English? I see a lot of different things. So why do you resonate with that? Why is that important? Write that down and keep it in mind in your marketing strategy. Because when you truly connect to your why, that's going to help your marketing be that much more impactful for the people that you help. Okay, so just jot it down. Why? What's in your heart? Why do you do this work? Okay, one more quick little note here, Amanda. We offer services, but the next service is contingent on the previous service. Okay, that's called an upsell. So when you're marketing the initial service, and that's where you want to drive all your marketing efforts into, okay, is getting people into the initial service. Then once they're in the initial service, upselling to the next level or the next service or the next stage of the game or whatever, that becomes an upsell and that becomes part of your actual business model, okay? Because in your marketing strategy, you don't want to focus marketing efforts on a phase 2 for people who haven't done a phase 1. So in your business, if there's a next level that people can come into, keep in mind that's an upsell and you want to configure your processes, your training, your in-house team, whoever's working, whoever's on your team, or even if it's just you, to know that your process now, once they've come in through the marketing efforts, your process is now to upsell them into the next phase. So I hope that that makes sense there. Don't waste marketing dollars, time, and effort on a phase 2 if they haven't done the phase 1. It's bring them in first. We do something very similarly where all of our marketing efforts are focused on bringing in new coaching clients. But once they're a client, almost all of our clients need marketing services. So the next level of that, we don't even market our marketing services. So the next level, though, is, hey, I see you struggling with your marketing. Do you need help with that? Okay, great. And now we can upsell into the marketing service. So I totally get what you're saying, and just keep that in mind in your business. So our marketing strategy doesn't talk about marketing services. Our marketing strategy talks about coaching. That's where we want to drive them in, and then we upsell them once they're in the company. Okay, why do you do it? Awesome. All right, you guys, why you do it? So just make sure that's written down. Question number 4, what's your MTP? I got to tell you guys, I even struggled on this one in my marketing strategy, but it's a really good thing to expand our minds. Remember, I said come with an open mind and at least be willing to look at it, okay? Your MTP is your massive transformative purpose. Massive meaning it's audaciously big and inspirational. Transformative meaning that it can cause significant transformation to an industry, a community, or even the planet. And purpose. There's a very clear why behind the work being done, and that why will unite and inspire people to take action. Here are some examples of MTPs for companies that you've probably heard of. Google, to organize the world's information. SpaceX, to make life multiplanetary. TED, ideas worth spreading. Jay Shetty, wisdom gone viral. Tesla, accelerate the transition to sustainable transportation. You're not too small. I know these are all big giant companies, but you are not too small to have an MTP. What is yours? Write it down. Or what do you think it is? Or at least just put some ideas on the paper of what you think it might be. And if you want to share your MTP, you can, of course, pop it into the Q&A as well. This is one you might need to think about. You might need to sleep on for a little bit. What is it? But it's okay in this section to dream big. How do you want to see your product or your service really change? Help people transform, maybe transform a community. It doesn't necessarily have to be the whole planet. Not that that's not truly big and massive and audaciously big, but what impact would you like to have through your MTP? Just write it down. All right, number 5. This one is super, super important. What pain points do you solve? Everyone in the world is suffering from basically the same 6 problems. And any person in the world is going to be able to relate in at least one of these areas. The 6 areas are relationships, health, money, career, work, or business, self, and faith. So take a moment and on your paper, let's write out what pain points do you help to solve. If you are not clear on the pain points you help to solve, your marketing will not be as effective. You have to know this stuff cold of like, how do we really help people? In what area do we help people? And it is okay if these areas overlap. For example, I might coach a business owner on their business, but at the same time, because their business gets more successful, they might then see their life improve, or they might come to me with life challenges that are actually affecting the business. I'm going through a terrible divorce and I'm not showing up in my business the way I need to. Great. So we're going to have to coach you not just on the business, but also on the emotional stuff behind the relationship issue that you're having. Okay. So you can have some overlap here, but be super clear on the pain points that you solve and just write them down. Healing loss, moving forward with your life. Fantastic. So I want to see your pain points just a little bit more flushed out, because like healing from loss, what kind of loss? Is it I lost my partner? Is it I lost a pet? Is it I lost a child? Is it I've lost a parent? Might want to be just, flush that out a little bit more. When you talk about moving forward with life, guys, these are great pain points, by the way. So what it really is the pain point moving forward? Drill that down a little bit. Let's say that somebody isn't moving forward and they're drinking, right? So they're dealing with the pain through alcohol. And so part of what you do might be to help somebody to stop dealing with the pain through alcohol and instead to deal with the emotional loss and be able to move forward. Maybe their career or their job, they're stuck, right? They're not doing well in their career because they're struggling from all of this grief. So your work might help them to finally be able to do better in their career. They might be able, maybe they're not healthy because of all this grief and depression and anxiety, right? They're not eating healthy, they're losing weight, they're gaining weight, right? Go into those details. All right. We don't really want this one to be as broad as like the value statement. We want that short and concise. But the pain points, I want to see like 5 to 7, like really well thought out, deep pain points that your product or service helps them solve. To reduce chronic disease rates in underserved communities. Awesome. And so to reduce chronic disease, you could go into the specific kinds of disease and the impact it has on a person's life when they are suffering from that disease. And if it's an underserved community, I would dial in that a little bit further too, because by underserved, do we mean they are below the poverty line? Are they in a place that maybe there's a lot of violence? Are they in the United States? Are they in a third world country, right? So we want to dial those pain points in a little bit more, in a little bit more detail. We use this publicly, helping businesses dream bigger. That's a great tagline, but in your marketing strategy, we've got to dial those pain points in a lot more detail. So when you say helping a business, first of all, are you helping them with coaching? Are you helping them with consulting? Do you provide labor? Like, what do you do to help those businesses? And then when you say dream bigger, I would put more specifics in there, because a business owner can often dream pretty big. It's the execution, or it might be the money, or it might be the people, or it might be the mindset, right? It could be all these things that they're not able to actually realize the dream. So I suspect that there's probably some pain points in there that you help them solve so that the business owner can actually execute and realize the dream. And so for the marketing strategy, we've got to make sure those things are really, really dialed in. Think of it for a second, you guys. If you see a post on social media and it says, helping businesses dream bigger, and then you see a post that says, helping, hold on, let me think about helping a startup business get 1 million cash loan to, to get their business off the ground. I'm like, oh, if I'm the business owner and I'm a startup and I need $1 million in cash, I'm going to be like, that's where I'm going. The helping businesses dream bigger, it's a little too vague. It's not really dialed in to what those pain points and stuff are. It's a pretty tagline, but when we're talking about marketing, we really need it to be a little bit more clear. Children falling behind in school. That's okay. You got a lot to go there. A lot of good stuff there. They're falling behind in school. So maybe they're getting bullied. Maybe the kids are losing their confidence. Maybe they don't want to go to school anymore. Maybe they're crying every day before they have to go to school. All of those are your pain points. Okay. They're falling behind in school. That's great. Maybe the teacher is ridiculing them. Like, there's some specific stuff that's going on that if you want to help those kids not fall behind in school, you got to be clear on that pain point. Because when you talk to the parent and you say, are you tired of your children crying, not wanting to go to school, hating the experience, and seeing their confidence on the decline? Here you go. Here's my product. now you're going to be connected, okay? Because you're demonstrating that you understand the pain. If you can demonstrate that you understand the pain to your ideal client, it is instant credibility, because as soon as they realize you get me, you get what I'm talking about, you instantly become credible when you then start to market the solution. Okay, I hope that makes sense. An effective marketing strategy means that you truly understand the struggles, the problems of your audience. Make sure that you go deep and even look at your own pain points here, because often what you have struggled with or are struggling with will be some of the same things that your ideal clients are also struggling with. And be willing to talk about that in your marketing strategy, your own problems, your own triumphs, your own lessons, your own reflections. Now, there's a caveat here, you guys. I had a client, he was a financial advisor, and he sent out an email to his huge email list about how he got a DUI and went through the whole process and got arrested and da-da-da-da. And he says, I'm being vulnerable. I'm like, no, you're not. You're being an idiot, because that is not going to get people to trust you with their money. Okay. So be vulnerable, but don't go so far that you actually are destroying your credibility. Wouldn't just say that, but I'm saying it just in case. All right. So be vulnerable. You can talk about your own struggles, but make sure you are drawing a line there as to what you are willing to share and what you're not willing to share. All right. Number 6, what social platforms will you be on? These days, like it or not, social media is just part of your marketing strategy. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be on all social platforms, and I would suggest you don't try to be everywhere, because you're just going to spread yourself too thin. And if you're not doing a good job of social media, then you're just not doing a good job on a whole bunch of platforms. Okay. So just choose the platform. It can even be just one where your ideal clients are actually hanging out. And I put use social media for good here, you guys, because I personally struggled with social media. I was just like, it's a waste of time. I have other things to do. I don't want to put all this crap on social media, right? That was me. And I'm still on that border a little bit, but using social media, when I switched my thinking and I said, you know what, you could start to use social media for good. And there's so much not good out there. And so if I can use social to put good out into the world, that's something I can align with, something I can get on board with. And that helped me to not cringe whenever I had to think about what am I going to put on social media. Now, when we talk about social media, there are only 5 genres that go viral. So if you're like, hey, I want to do social, but I just don't know what to do. Pick one of these genres, and then make sure that all your content aligns with that. The 5 genres are adventure, emotion, surprise, comedy, and inspiration. Adventure is going to be, you know, those pictures of somebody climbing the pyramids or Machu Picchu or whatever, you know, they're out in the world, they're adventuring. And you guys see this stuff that goes viral. I know you know what I'm talking about. Emotion, the video of the dog and they rescued him and it shows him like coming back to health and it makes us cry. That kind of stuff goes viral. Surprise, things we're not expecting. It's like, will go viral. Comedy, everybody loves to laugh, and inspiration. But based on your brand, decide which genre you're going to pick for your social media. For us, we do more inspirational. I want to inspire business owners to let them know they can fix their problems, right? And we want to use inspiration to do that. And then sometimes we're going to use comedy or put something out there that's funny. So decide what social platforms will you be on, and then what genre will you align with when you put your content out into the world, and just write it down on your strategy. Number 7, what are your SEO, your keywords, and your hashtags? Don't have to have a lot of them, but this is all about your messaging. And I want to see this in your marketing strategy so that before you go write a social media post or you write a blog or do a video, that you keep your keywords, your hashtags top of mind, because the bigger picture is that when people are looking for you, we want them to find you on the internet. And if our keywords are clear and consistent and we're using them over and over, Google is going to recognize that and they're going to send more organic traffic to your website. And they do look at social, they look at your blogs, they look at your website, they look at all these different things. The algorithms are very, very smart these days, you guys. So this is about what keywords are you going to be repeating on your website and in social media to drive organic traffic. You don't need 50 of them. You need 5, okay? And if you're not sure, you can, of course, hire a company to go out and do your SEO research, absolutely. Or if you're on a budget, just sit down and get on Google and pretend to be your ideal client and start typing in keywords. If you type in keywords and you see your competition showing up, ding, ding, you're on the right track. If you type in keywords, you don't see any of your competition showing up, like it doesn't seem relevant, those are probably not going to be your keywords. But you can just do some simple research here just by getting on Google, typing in what you would type in to look for you and seeing what else pops up. And then jot those down. Hashtags, really easy. Get on Twitter and just start typing in what hashtags you think it should be. I once had a marketer who came to work for me and was working on hashtags for my best planner ever. And she found a hashtag that was definitely not in alignment with my brand. And the way that I found it was she started doing posts and it was like, I don't want to be in that audience. I don't want to be in that conversation. So a hashtag, make sure you research it. You guys just get on Twitter, type in the hashtag, see what's popping up, what's in those conversations before you start to align it with your brand. And then just write them down and make sure that they're part of your marketing strategy. So that way, you know, these are our keywords, these are our hashtags, and now we make sure to use those on our website landing pages, our blogs. We talk about them in our videos, and we would obviously use them on social media. Okay, and question number 8. How will you market? How will you market? This is a very important question, and it's a big question because there are so many options for marketing. And here's what I like to, my general rule of thumb is you want at least 3 sources of lead generation. Think of a table. If it doesn't have at least 3 legs, it's going to fall over. And if you have only 1 source of lead generation coming into your business and it dries up or something happens with it, you're going to be up a creek because you don't have any other sources of lead generation. I have an active client right now. He is a mortgage broker, and his primary source of lead generation was buying leads from LendingTree. Then what happened? COVID happened. All the interest rates dropped. Okay, great. But then everything went kaboom, and then the lead provider started doubling, tripling, quadrupling their cost of leads. Then the leads started not being as much of a quality, and then he almost lost his whole business. But thankfully, he didn't. And what did we do? We went out and we started building other sources of lead generation. Now he's got leads coming in from multiple sources, and he's actually been able to get rid of LendingTree completely, which has lowered his costs and brought in more of his ideal client, even with the market going all over and crazy in the real estate market. Okay, so at least 3 sources of lead generation. And what I mean by that is people coming in who are interested in your product or service. Choose things that you like and that you're going to stick with. Don't make, I'm going to market by cold calling. If you absolutely hate cold calling, don't make that part of your marketing strategy. And if it's something that you like, but you don't want to do, or you absolutely hate it, just hire it out. But get somebody to be doing whatever it is that you've decided are going to be one of the ways that you're going to generate leads or generate sales. Good marketing, really, marketing is the key to that, is about growing your business, but then also staying in business. And that's why we want to make sure that we're clear on where and how we're going to market. So here are some options. All right, some options. So write down, if you're not sure, like, how am I actually going to market my business? You can make a website, and that's great. There's like 10 billion websites. And so if you think you're going to make a website and then you're just going to get traffic, it is not going to happen, guys. And so this is why I'm like, all right, so when we talk about how are we going to market, okay, great, we need a website, but then we've got to do something in our marketing strategy to drive organic traffic and or paid traffic to the website. So that's why here under options, having a website isn't enough. let's say you want to, in your marketing strategy, you want to do something. Well, that's going to be an effort to drive organic and paid traffic. Maybe you're going to have a lead magnet so that you can build your list, and then you have an email list and you want to do email marketing. Your content, I'm going to put out blogs, I'm going to put out videos. Those are things that are going to obviously drive organic traffic, drive your SEO. All the content that you put out needs to have a clear CTA, call to action. Don't just write a blog, don't just do a video without you putting in there, hey, ideal client, if you want to learn more, go here, sign up for this call, buy this product. So don't just put content out there without a call to action. Make sure all your content has a very, very clear call to action for the client so they know what to do next. Social media. Sometimes social media, you guys, is just about having a presence for credibility and authority, just enough posts so it looks like you're credible, you're authority in this area. Sometimes social media can be used to drive all the business, all the revenues, okay? And you can be anywhere in that spectrum. Referral programs, speaking, being a guest on a podcast, having your own podcast, going to trade shows, going to events, going to networking events, doing LinkedIn prospecting. Okay, there's a lot of different options here for how you're going to market your business. And I'm going to suggest that for your marketing strategy right now, you create at least, or choose 3. All right, choose 3. You can market other ways, not a problem, but let's start with 3. Depending on where you're at, I don't want you to overwhelm yourself with trying to do all of those things at once. So pick 3. Then, if you're already doing some of these things, do an evaluation of your current marketing efforts and identify, this is working, but this isn't working, and this could be working better. So if you already have 3 ways that you market, great. Do an evaluation. Where could we improve? And then make that list of, these are the ways we can improve it, and then improve each area until you're actually getting the results you want. And if you need help, get help, right? Shorten your curve. There are a lot of people out there that know how to do this stuff. I hire people when I need them to help me do these things so I can do it better and I can do it faster instead of everything having to be all trial and error. Okay, so once you've got all this information, I'm going to encourage you to take it and put it in one page. This is an example of an Excel spreadsheet that we use in my practice, and I want to show you kind of what it looks like. So we take all this information for a client, and this is how we create their one-page marketing plan, is by answering all the questions. And you see, here they are right here. So all you have to do is just, whether you want to use a Word document or you want to use an Excel spreadsheet, take all the information, compile it into one place, and then have this available so that you can actually see it. And if you have a team or anybody who is helping you with marketing that's outsourced, make sure that you share the information with them. And I'm running out of time, guys. So this is the second part of the sheet, which is how we actually market. So if we're doing any of these different marketing methods, we just line out, okay, well, how can we actually improve it? What are those next action steps? If we need to do links or notes, those are all here. But you can see here in the marketing strategy that we're just like, all right, let's look at everything we're already doing and figure out how we can improve it. So I just wanted to give you guys an example of what this might actually look like if you take the information from today and you put it into a marketing strategy. This is a diagram that I use in our business to help. Honestly, I created it just to help me understand all the pieces, because when we talk about like marketing and digital marketing, there are a lot of pieces and it can become really, really overwhelming. And so I just kind of want to take you guys through what's really happening in your marketing strategy. So generally you have a website, which is at the core, and that website could also include some extra landing pages, and it's going to include your brand, like who you are, what you're about. And so for that website, social media, right? If you're doing level 1 social media and it's just for credibility and authority, you might be sending traffic to that website. And you'll see on the website, the goal down here is a conversion. And a conversion could be a sale if you're e-commerce, a booked call if you're a professional service provider, it doesn't matter, but a conversion is a conversion, right? So the social media is basically driving back to the website to drive a conversion. If you up-level your social media game, and maybe you start doing social selling, more outreach, great. Again, it's going to be about driving those conversions. If you're doing SEO or backlinking or blogs, videos, like your content strategy, the goal of those things is to drive traffic back to the website to drive a conversion. Is this sounding repetitive? It is. Okay, if you have a lead magnet out there and you're growing your list, great. That's fuel for the fire. If you want to do email marketing, or you have your funnels, your automatic funnels that are working, and whether it's a solo email or it's an automatic funnel, all of those things are driving conversions. And then down here, we've got LinkedIn prospecting, because again, that's outbound, and that's again, driving conversions. So you've got a lot of different pieces. Don't try to do them all at once. But when all of these pieces are in place, then you'll see up here at the top where we actually start running paid traffic. Don't waste your marketing dollars driving paid traffic if your website isn't clear and concise, and your pricing isn't in line, and there's a bunch of confusion and nobody knows how to buy it. People will think, oh, I'll just go run an ad and I'm going to sell a bunch of things. No, you won't. You'll run an ad, you'll make Google and Facebook rich, and you won't sell anything. So this is why you want to make sure that your marketing strategy is like super dialed in. All of these pieces are in place before you start spending money on paid traffic. So that way, when you do run money on paid traffic, it's all designed and set up to convert. Okay. Guys, I'm down to the last 5 minutes. I wanted to show you really quickly about the one-page action plan. So once you have your marketing strategy and you know this is how I'm going to market, this is where I'm going to be, and you start to then from there flush out the steps of what am I going to do to now execute this strategy, that's where the action plan comes in. And I'm just going to skip over and I'm going to show you really quickly your action plan. You can do this in a spreadsheet, you can do it in a Word document. But basically on your action plan at the bottom is 30-day tasks. What are the things I need to do in the next 30 days? My 3-month objectives. What do I need to accomplish in 3 months? And then my 12-month objectives. What do I need to accomplish in 12 months to meet that big 3-year goal? And so in your one-page action plan, you can start to break this out into 30 days, 3 months, and 12 months. And it's just a great way to organize the information. You can obviously put it into Asana. And if you want a copy of the one-page action plan, so really quick, make sure you compile everything for your marketing strategy. If you have a team, you can review it with them, come back to the recording, take time for the areas where you may not be clear, put it where you can see it and refer to it weekly. The one-page action plan, I'm sorry, I didn't have time to really go into it, but I do have a free one. It's an Excel spreadsheet. If you want to see an example of the one-page action plan, just go to jenniferjohncoaching.com/score. And I think Raquel is going to actually put this in the link too, so that you guys can just click the link. And if you opt in, I'm going to send you a one-page action plan that you can use to execute your marketing strategy. And if you have any questions, you can also email us directly at team@JenniferDawnCoaching. Okay, yes, we're going to be sending out the recording. The template, if you want to get the template, you're going to need to opt in to jenniferjohncoaching.com/score, and that will get you the one-page action plan template. Can we get notes from your slides? You can get the recording, and I'm glad you got a lot of great nuggets in there. You'll have the recording of the whole thing, and I recommend that you do come back to it. Okay, that's about all the time I know that we have. I see Larry popping back on here, so I'm going to pop it to the slide, Larry.
Thank you. Jennifer, thank you so much. You were tremendously helpful and kept the questions and answers, and I think you answered 99.9% of them, but people can now follow up with you directly. So I think we'll leave it there. As a reminder, you will all be receiving a link to the recording. Now, please join me in thanking our presenter, Jennifer Dawn, and the Small Business Administration for its support of SCORE. I thank all of you for participating today. I look forward to seeing you at future webinars, and now go out and enjoy a sunny afternoon. So thank you very much, folks.
Thanks, everybody.